You're watching the Biker Protocol channel. Mwah.
Welcome to the Biker Protocol channel. My name's Hollywood Black Patch MC here in Las Vegas, and we got
I'm
Picasso
with the Eagle Riders MC also here in Las Vegas.
the one and only artiste.
It's like we're talking into a robot
Painter.
penis. Yeah, that's what a friend of mine always said.
We've got a comment this time around.
You have to do it in a voice though.
Yeah, we're doing the voice this time. Root Beer G8X is the user. All right, you did the voice last time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll do the voice.
It's got the giggles. Come on.
Could you make a video about members losing their patch by discipline? Center punched, going back down to prospect, probating, whatever. How was that?
Good enough. All right.
That was ridiculous.
Better than me.
We're not making fun, just having fun.
No,
you
we're
know?
having a good time. Better than I would.
Yeah,
do.
so go ahead. I did the
No,
voice.
it's an interesting topic, right? So, so here's kind of the situation, right? So as you start moving up in your club and you start getting, you go through hang around process, you become a prospect or probate, however you want to call it, prospect. And then, you do your prospecting time and then you get voted in by your club as a patch member, right? So now you're a patch member. So what happens when you do something and you screw something up, right? So there's usually discipline.
You definitely, like, we have videos on creating bylaws.
Yeah.
You definitely should have that outlawed if you are starting a club, or writing your bylaws. If you're already in a club, it should be outlawed or outlined in your bylaws of what happens, so yeah, continue.
So every club's different. I know some clubs where they don't do that because it's more of like a not one size fits all kind of thing. So it's kind of hard to really say what a discipline is, right? I mean, you could write on for paragraphs and paragraphs how you could what an infraction might be.
Yeah.
But you can itemize things that are more simplistic if you want to put them in your bylaws. And it's not a bad idea. When you have things in writing, it becomes less able to be disputed, right?
Yeah.
So, but like
sometimes discipline in bylaws, having them in writing,
yeah,
also creates a legal precedent of, what I don't know what the terminology is for it, but like coercion or something like that.
Yeah, I guess that's true too. I mean, but a lot of it really just comes down to, if you screw up in some way, there should be a penalty for it. Now, some clubs do it differently. Like for some clubs, for example, let's imagine you said something bad about another member or called somebody out poorly. That's another member. Let's use that as an example. Okay. So that might be something worthy of a warning, right?
Yeah.
So an officer, president, vice president, sergeant at arms would jump in, get involved and say, hey, listen, dude, you can't do this. I mean, it's inappropriate. Right. Yeah. And that might be a single warning, double warning. And then after that, if that's not sinking in, then maybe it's something to, pull a patch for. And usually it's like a center patch. You had mentioned earlier that it might be like a lower rocker.
Yeah.
So it depends on how the clubs do it, but basically it's kind of like a public shaming.
Yeah.
It's a scarlet letter kind of thing. Where
you're going around and people start to see, oh, what happened?
Right.
They're not going to probably ask you, but you go,
right,
you did something.
Right.
Shame on you.
Well, and that's kind of the point, right? It's designed to be a little humiliating because, I don't think it's necessarily something you want to do on like the first infraction, depending on what it is, right?
Yeah.
If it's something really egregious, then, maybe it is, but for, small things, if you've gotten a couple warnings and it's not sinking in, that's kind of where it moves to.
And I mean, it could be, there's even smaller ones like, you haven't been paid your dues in a long time and you have no real excuse or, whatever it might be. Maybe it's time. Okay, well, the fines aren't helping. Your cut's ours for now, like we're going to hold it until you get this straight.
And like every club's there, and you brought this up because it's an interesting point, is fines, right? So that's one way you can penalize a club member before they get to the pulling patches point.
Yeah.
Right? And it depends on what the fines are. I know some clubs' fines are very high. I know some clubs where clubs are just $5. It's enough to make you commit to realizing, all right, I really screwed up and I'm throwing $5 in the beer kitty or something.
At the same time, sometimes this is a different video probably, but fines, I've learned kind of just make it easier for people to screw up because like not riding to church, which is kind of a ridiculous one. Like there's, oh, well, here's my $5.
Yeah.
It doesn't teach them anything.
True.
So sometimes that's where then the punishment comes in. Like, oh, you haven't ridden to church for the last 3 churches or something. we need it's not about the fine now.
Mhm.
There's something we need to talk about, right?
Right.
Or whether
Or
it's,
not coming to church.
yeah,
You know, let's say that happens too. And,
Uh,
there's always reasons, right? I mean, you
yeah.
get called into work, things like that happen, right? But if you show a pattern of things, then yeah, that becomes,
Yeah, and they, getting the club in trouble with other clubs for your
Oh,
own
that's a big one,
stupid
yeah.
reasons. That could be a grounds for that, because now you're causing animosity on your own personality.
right.
I've always been a firm believer of, like, if you're in a club, your family, you're together. So if that one member's starting something, unfortunately, I forget the phrase,
He's representing the whole club.
but like, if they're starting something, and you're there, like the club's there, you're backing him, and then you take care of him behind closed doors,
right.
closed doors, and then you have to obviously do the political thing afterwards, because hopefully you didn't create an
I've
animosity.
been there, yeah.
But that you're supposed to back your brothers before you're, back.
Always right.
What is it? Innocent until proven guilty, I guess. But
Well, I've told this story before. Now he was a hang around at the time, right? So he wasn't even a prospect yet. But we had a guy who was like right on the verge of becoming a prospect. We walked into a big party, and he walks and he's like, "Eagle Riders in the house," and it was like, oh my God, And the damage control I had to do out of that was just like, it wasn't a big deal, but it was very embarrassing.
I don't know what you said. He was a prospect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, maybe if that was a member, maybe that's putting him down for a prospect for a month to go, that's what prospects do, and you're not supposed to be one,
right.
So
or certainly if he was a prospect, that just tacks on another month to his,
And I don't know how you guys run your stuff, and every club, as you said, is very different, but everyone has, or usually there's every club has its table, like of officers or a group that kind of makes those decisions, right?
Right.
So if a member's acting up, that table gets together and goes, what do we do about this member? Like, we need to figure it out and then bring it to the board or the actual table,
right?
And go, this is what's happening, what we've decided, what do you guys want to do about it? And you do your voting process. But going, like, with this user's talking about, like, taking the patches, that is definitely something, because you're supposed to hold it sacred. You've earned it. If it's taken from you, hopefully that's going to shape you up, because you've spent a lot of time, some people blood, sweat, and tears. And if you lose that, well, now maybe it'll like click and like,
and there's so many different kinds of punishments too, right? That go along with that. So like, I know some clubs where they pull the center patch, right? And so as part of that, if you have your center patch pulled because of a disciplinary thing at church the next month or whenever you have church, right? That person has to stand up in front of everybody and explain and tell them, this is why I got my center punch pulled, my center patch pulled, and this is what I've learned from it, right? So you got to make a statement. It's like, this is why I effed up.
Right. And there's some, I think you've stated before about some, maybe it's not about pulling patches, but kind of humiliating them in a way. Like we've talked about, we never have implemented. We've always talked about the pink panty party, the people that are whiners or just aren't doing what they should be doing, and they wear like a pink vest or something. We never do it, but
well, we have our necklace of shame.
Stuff like that. So that's another way of discipline. We've heard of, just simple things like, 100 push-ups, get on the ground and, you're helping yourself, but then also being punished in a way.
Right. Of course. But there are times where you need to pull a patch. And it's usually for something pretty egregious. I think it's generally not something you want to do for something that's a minor thing. But it's usually it's rarely whenever we've had to do anything even close to that, it's never like a first time issue. It's usually after a couple of warnings of, hey, you've been having this pattern of a certain problem and it's just not fixing itself by us talking about it. So now we have to make this kind of aware. And, public shaming, man, I got to tell you, it works.
It
really does.
It does. And I'm like we were saying, especially if it's a member you're pulling the patch from, they've earned it, or they've worked towards it. That should hurt them pulling it. And that hopefully will straighten them up.
Now, also, I'd like to add, it also depends on length of time too. So, I know I can speak from different levels of experience and talking with other clubs that have done this kind of thing. A lot of times you're not pulling patches for like a year, right? It might be a month or two. It might be a couple churches. It might be, you have to come to so many events publicly and then you get them back. So that's kind of how you decide in your club, how you want to set that up as far as a punishment goes. But taking a member's back patch, it's a pretty serious thing. It's a big
deal. Choosing how much does this person need to be punished,
right? And how much you think they're going to learn from it is the other thing too. So that's important too.
So I don't know. I think that hopefully that answers.
What was
Center
it?
punch
Root
going
beer-
down,
root beer
prospect probate. Yeah.
GX8.
Yeah.
GX8.
Root
Okay.
beer. I could go for some root beer.
That does sound good. We're going to do this though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You good?
Oh, well, yeah. Well, let's, if you haven't done so, please, I hope you like this video. They come out every week. So please like and subscribe. You can click the button down below and do that. And then click the notification bell. That way you get them every week. You'll get a notice.
Yeah.
But our videos will come out every week. So cheers.
Yeah.
To our, okay. Thanks for watching, guys. We hope that this was an informative video, and thanks for watching. We got more coming out every week. So we'll see you on the next one. Keep the shiny side up.